So my presentation, or our presentation, will give some background, and then I will tell you about the explorative evaluation we developed and has tested. And Lene will talk a little about further developments of this method. The Bachelor Programme started in 2008, and it's a 3.5-year program, and it's interdisciplinary. The first 4 semesters are mandatory, and they have different subjects, biomedical engineering, software engineering, and healthcare system, and then we work with projects every semester. And Lene is software engineer, and actually my background is a little different because I know the healthcare system, so I have a bachelor in nursing and a master in public health, and I've been teaching nursing for many years. But I was hired to implement this program. The students' 5th year is internship, and 6th and 7th semester they have optional courses and they do the bachelor project. So when we started this program, I thought that it was very, very important to listen to the students and find out, are we really on the right track? Are we doing the right things? Because what I feared was that the interdisciplinary thing would go wrong if we didn't help the students to connect the subjects they were learning. So I introduced these cafe meetings, I called them. So the teachers would meet with the students once a month. Just informally, I would take coffee and cake, and we would talk with the students about how are things going, how a workload, all that kind of stuff. And the students would tell us every time we met with them that programming is so difficult. We don't understand what we are supposed to do. And we are different from the students who do software engineering. And the students are different. In software engineering at our college, most of the students are men, but we have 60% of our students are girls. And they don't have the interest in making homepage and doing a lot of plays on the computer. So they're really from the scratch in programming. And when we evaluated the programming course, they said the teacher is bad, the book is bad, we don't get enough guidance. But Lene was an experienced teacher, so we thought we got to get behind this and see what is actually going on. What are we doing wrong? And when we talked to the student, we didn't get the answers. What are we doing wrong? So we needed to find a way to focus not on teacher performance, but on how to enhance learning activities and student learning. And what we realized was that when we have the student evaluations, these evaluations actually build on what the student experience, and the students reflect and they do make interpretations, and actually the conclusions we get, the evaluations, is that the teacher is bad, but we didn't have what was actually going on in their heads. So we made this workshop, evaluation workshop with the students. We picked 6 or 8 students from the class, and then we have the teacher and a process guide. And then we make a learning path. The teacher make this learning path before the workshop, and it is actually it's a timeline showing the different elements in the course. And then we have stickers with symbols And the stickers and the symbols on the stickers actually show the things we want the students to tell us about. We want to tell them, when do we actually have this feeling, now I know what's going on, now it's clear for me, or now the workload is very hard. And when we sort of find out about this is the course and the timeline. And on the timeline we have the stickers with the students' experience. We can conclude on that. So we talk with the students about, when we start the workshop, what is the difference between an experience and interpretation. So we start making all the students make their own learning path. And then after that, they put the stickers from their own learning path to the common learning path. And then we look at and try to find the patterns on the learning path. So we sort of make a common reflection, the teacher and the students, and find out what are the patterns on this learning path. For example, in this area, we could see that, there are some light bulbs. So that was when the students thought, well, now I start to figure out what is actually I need to learn in this course. And we could ask the student, what happened at the course at that time? So we could make the students tell us what was the interpretation of their experience. And the results is actually the learning path. And we end the workshop by getting the students give the teacher some advice on how to change the course. And the summary, the teacher is making a summary that is published for all students on the course. So what we also do is that we actually commit ourselves to make the changes, because all students know what advice did we get from the 6 and 8 students. So after doing these evaluations, we've done it twice on this programming course in our first semester. Lena got so much advice, she got so many new things that she could develop the course once again and change it. So actually now she's getting very good evaluations in this course. What we also found was that it was easier to plan the following courses for these students, because we knew more about how did they learn, when did they learn, and what was the activities that make them learn. Also, we found that the students are engaged in our evaluations because they can see that we actually act on what they're telling us. Actually, I spoke to one of our students in the 6th semester just last week, and she said, I have something I want to tell you. Can we do some evaluations in the autumn? And I want to engage in it because, she said, I can see that when I talk to younger students than myself, you have actually used our evaluations and changed the courses. So that's really that's great. We have also tried to use this kind of evaluation in CDIO projects, and that gives us very much knowledge about the time schedule in the project and how to help students work together in the teams. So I think this kind of evaluation is very useful when you have a course that is very troublesome. It takes a long time, so you don't use it on every course you have, but as a supplement to other evaluations, we think it has been very, very good for us. So, and Lena has some comments on how we will evaluate and how we are working on it.
This one too, please.
Yes, you'll have that one.
Okay. We think the perspectives for this evaluation method is promising. And this semester I've tried it on a CDIO project on the second semester in our electronical and programming program. And the main objectives for that program is to develop a product in combination between software and hardware. And the main subject, the main goal for that project is to introduce an engineering method. They have to follow a specific method during the course. And the subject is selected by the students themselves, and the groups are formed by themselves too. So instead of the workshop, I should say there's over 100 students at that course. So instead of making a workshop, I've tried to make an electronic questionnaire, still focusing on the subjects in the project. And I've prepared this and distributed it by Google Docs. I got 28 answers from the students, and the subject was PC software. They had to develop something for the PC, they have to develop something for a microcontroller, and they have to develop an electronic device. So I've divided the answers into these three groups. This is the learning path in another scheme, not a visual one like this, but in a scheme. And the things I can see from this is that the time pressure and workload increases towards the end of the project. That's not not surprising. I can also see that the teamwork, that's a big objective for the project, works okay during the project. And the last thing I'll point out in this result is that the review tool are used very much, and it's here. Okay, they get the aha. Of course, this evaluation type misses the discussion with the students. So if something unexpected is shown by this learning path, we could always take a discussion with the students afterwards. Of course, they have to see this in the same way as they see the summary, and we can take a discussion afterwards. So that's the end of our presentation.